Urban Kickster here, back with another video, and today the PS4 Pro was released. The first console to be able to play games in 4K. Wait, how do we know it will even be able to play games in 4K? Well, it said the PS4 Pro would have 4.2 teraflops of computing power. So if we can find a video card that is in about that range, and it can play games in 4K, then theoretically it would be able to play games at 4K. I do realize that teraflops aren't always an accurate way of comparing cards, but it's the best we can do since we don't have hands-on with the PS4 Pro or the card I'm going to be introducing. But what graphics card has that amount of power? I was looking through the RX series of cards from AMD and saw that the Radeon RX 470 has 4.9 teraflops, which is much greater than the PS4 Pro, which means even if there was such a thing as console optimization, which there really isn't, that would mean that if this card can do it, then the PS4 Pro can. So I don't have this card myself, but there's a whole community dedicated to benchmarking new cards, and so I found some frame rates for a couple of games. CSGO, which is a very easy game to run at, will be able to run at 100 to 120 FPS. Crysis 3, which is considered one of the hardest games to run, ran at 15 to 20 FPS, and it ran at about 20 to 25 FPS in GTA 5. So that was the RX 470. And now it's very hard to find benchmarks for this card at this resolution, and this is for good reason. It isn't playable at 4K. The only games you'll really be able to play at 4K on this card are simple games like Goat Simulator or CSGO. And this GPU is even more powerful than the PS4 Pro, so imagine what frame rates you'd be getting on something even less powerful than this RX 470. They could turn down some of the settings on the games to try and improve the frame rate on these games. That's what console optimization is. But I think it will still be under 30 FPS, and that's just not acceptable for games. And unless all you want to play is Goat Simulator in 4K, you'll be very disappointed when you realize that you aren't playing Battlefield 1 and Skyrim Special Edition in 4K. Now that doesn't mean that it is a bad console that isn't worth getting. In fact, if you make a PC with an RX 470, it will cost you just under $450. $450, which is $50 more than the PS4 Pro. Although I would argue that it is a better deal because of all the options you have on the PC and that little extra graphical power than the RX 470 gives you, and free multiplayer, and more games. Better games. But the real reason I suggest buying the PS4 Pro is not because of its supposed 4K capabilities, but the better experience it will have in PSVR. And I think that is the only reason anyone should buy this, because of the VR. So I guess this was just a big public service announcement about how the PS4 Pro will not be able to play games in 4K, and you shouldn't be buying it because you have a 4K TV, because there will be parts of the PS4 Pro that will have 4K capabilities like the menu screen and video streaming, but if you expect to play your favorite game at 4K, you are out of luck. Even if they did have support for changing a resolution on all games, which it will not support, unlike the PC where if you have a good enough monitor you can play up to 8K or even 16K in the future as long as the game is optimized for bigger resolutions, which most games are. Anyway, I've been talking about this for a while now, and I think I've gotten my point across, so please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, because this is Urban Kickster, signing off.